The Akashic Records is a field of infinite possibility. So every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akash. And you can think about it as like a cosmic library that holds everything and anything in it. And what I mean by that is you have an Akashic Records, I have an Akashic Records, Mother Earth has an Akashic Records, books, artifacts, people, places, things, and belongings have Akashic Records. And we can tap into the Akashic Records to receive love and guidance and support in any and all areas of our life.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Lavender Lifestyle Podcast. It's Eileen. Today's episode is on accessing spiritual guidance. So today we'll cover topics like Akashic Records, light language, and crystalline energy. It's an insightful, fun episode. And because these topics may be difficult to understand or grasp, our guests will be giving us live demonstrations. So demonstrations on accessing Akashic Records for spiritual guidance and light language for healing and breaking through fears and limiting beliefs. Our guest today is Amy Robeson. Amy Robeson, Akashic Record Master Teacher Healer and founder of Sacred Awakening, empowers individuals through her powerful Akashic Records program to tap into their inner potential for transformation by cultivating curiosity to live their best lives. Amy speaks light codes and light language, plus she shows you how to be courageous enough to walk your divine path. Hello, Amy. Welcome to the podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Same. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let's get into your journey. Can you just give us a brief overview of your story of like going from a corporate career to becoming this master Akashic Records teacher, spiritual coach?
I came from a very intuitive, connected family, but I didn't know it until I was an adult, if that makes any sense. I came also from, my stepdad was a severe alcoholic, so I learned how to attune to the energy of unpredictable adults very quickly as a kid, because you never know what's going to happen if you have someone that's an alcoholic. And so in my 20s, dealing with a lot of childhood trauma, I didn't want to be here anymore. And I started to get intuitive hits. I didn't have that word at the time that it was really important for me to try yoga. And when I tried yoga for the first time, it was like the most life-changing thing ever because I started being happy again. I started climbing out of the dark hole that I was in. And then I met my now husband and moved to Charleston, and I cracked my tailbone for the second time in my life.
Okay.
And it all got taken away. I couldn't go to yoga anymore. I was walking with a limp. I was soul searching because I had like an identity crisis because I was trying to find a new career because I didn't want to be in the career I was in. And it was just a lot. And I didn't want to go down that dark hole where I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. So I asked myself, what is it that I've been wanting to do but haven't given myself permission to do? And that was learn how to meditate, learn how to do dream interpretations. And so I started to just follow my heart on what I was being guided to do. And it's led me to here. So for me, it was learning how to meditate allowed me to dissolve my pain, allowed me to stop walking with a limp, allowed me to get off of pain medicine because I was in so much pain for over a year from cracking my tailbone. And it allowed me to start studying. And that is the thing that I think is so important for most people is you have self-mastery when you study yourself and when you dive deeper into your spirituality.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit more about that study period. Was it mostly meditation and you helping yourself? Like, what were the main resources that really opened your eyes and helped you?
Meditation sounds so vanilla, but it's not. And the reason why I say that is because when I learned how to meditate, my meditation teacher had channeling abilities like Edgar Cayce. And so she was a trance medium. So she would go into these trances and she could do a whole life review, which is not a life review from this lifetime. It's like your soul life review. And the way that I learned how to meditate was through guided visualizations, but it was much deeper than just learning how to meditate because you have to interpret what you are receiving. And when I first started meditating, I started receiving a lot of visuals, a lot of insight, a lot of intuitive things. I would have a lot of weird things happen as well. So like one time I had a dream about a dead lizard underneath my work desk. And the next day there was a lizard in my house. And then the next day there was a dead lizard on my keyboard. And then the next day there was a dead lizard underneath my work desk. And this is like physically all happening. And so learning how to interpret that information and seeing it happen in real life after you receive a download or in that case, like a premonition about it was like, it piqued my curiosity on like, what is this? Like, this feels so natural and it feels so much like home. I need to know more. And so for me, spiritual practices went from learning how to meditate to journaling to doing hands-on healings, doing mediumship, exorcism. Like I went from just learning how to meditate to taking the meditate, and I'm going to put this in quotations, meditation teacher course with her,
Oh,
which
wow.
was, it sounds foo-foo, but it's totally not, because you're
Yeah.
learning how to literally do exorcisms and
Wow.
hand-on healing. And I didn't have the words at the time to even understand what I was even signing up for. I'm a big believer, follow your heart and your heart will lead you exactly where it's meant to be. And for me, it was all of that. And then it led me to the records, and it's led me to light language, and it's led me to all sorts of different modalities that really light up my soul, that make me remember who I am and remember my wholeness and my essence.
Yeah, that's incredible. Also, side note, I can't help but think about when you're talking about the lizard, how you have a dream, then you see it in real life. That's something that I can relate to. Literally this week, because there are like huge fires in LA. It was like 2 nights before I had a nightmare about like it wasn't exactly scary, but I just no, I had a dream of an end of the world situation. But I wasn't stressed out in the dream. But I literally journaled about it the day after, and then the next day was like the
The
fires
fires, yeah.
and I don't know. I do have little moments like that, but I don't think I have the experience of how you have your teacher and you went deeper. But anyway, it just came to my mind. I was like, wow.
Well, we all have premonitions in some way, shape, or form. Some of us remember them and some of us don't. And some people have these premonitions where it's very matter of fact of what it means. And then some people have premonitions where it's more elusive. And for example, like you had the end of the world and then the fire start, like your subconscious is literally forewarning you, hey, something big is going to happen. And metaphorically, it is the end of the world for some people that just
Yeah.
lost all of their belongings. I think there was like I don't know if it was a rabbit museum or a hotel or something. It just like popped up in my feed before you and I hopped on. And this owner has been collecting these things and these belongings for 40 years, and he lost his whole collection. And
Yeah.
it's so sad. And it can feel like the end of the world. And even though it's just belongings, those belongings can't be replaced.
Before we continue, a huge thank you to Give Hugs for sponsoring today's episode. You know that feeling when you just need a hug? That's exactly what Give Hugs weighted plushies were made for. Whether you need a little extra comfort on tough days or something soothing to help you relax, these plushies provide exactly what you need. They can be heated for cozy warmth or cooled for a refreshing touch, perfect for stress relief, cramps, or even a good night's sleep. I have the turtle and the lion, and they're literally just the cutest. Plus, every Hugs purchase supports mental wellness charities, making it a gift that truly gives back. Whether you're treating yourself or looking for a thoughtful gift, these plushies are a hug you can hold on to. Check out givehugs.co, that's hugs with a Z.co, and use the code TLL for 20% off your first order. Trust me, you'll want one for you and one to share. Okay, so how did you first kind of tap into those spiritual gifts working with Akashic Records and light language? Maybe let's first explain what those are, and then I want to know your first experiences with them.
So, for anybody that doesn't know, the Akashic Records is a field of infinite possibility. So, every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akash. And you can think about it as like a cosmic library that holds everything and anything in it. And what I mean by that is you have an Akashic Records, I have an Akashic Records, Mother Earth has an Akashic Records, books, artifacts, people, places, things, and belongings have Akashic Records. And we can tap into the Akashic Records to receive love and guidance and support in any and all areas of our life. And so for me, how I discovered the Akashic Records, well, I learned first from my first spiritual teacher what they were, but I didn't realize that I was actually tapping into them in meditation and through the practices that I was doing with her. It was very subconscious, like, because some people can access the records unknowingly. And what I discovered when I did discover what the records were, like, it was like, I don't, this feels so familiar. I know that I need to know more about it. So I ended up getting like my first reading, and I'm like, I just need to know exactly what this is and how this works. And so I started on a path of studying it. And by studying it, I discovered I've been working in the records since I was a kid. Because when you are a child, you access things in a different way, and then you start to conform to normalcy that the adults in your life tell you is what is normal and not to behave in certain ways. And so I started to access those when I was a kid, and as an adult, I knew things that I shouldn't have known as a kid, and that was because of the Akashic records and just being really intuitive. And then with light language, my sister and I would actually speak light language to each other when we were kids. I didn't have those words at that time, but I think like 2017 or something, my guides were like, "You're going to start speaking light language." I'm like, "I'm not speaking light language. That's weird. I don't want to be any more weird. Like, this is already getting weird." And they're like, "No, you're going to speak it. It's going to be great. Like, people are going to resonate with it." I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really want to do it." And so, like, I had this reluctancy towards it. And then I started speaking it. And when I spoke it for the first time, it was like this big remembrance of, oh, yeah, I used to do this when I was a kid. And my older sister and I, when we would speak to each other, we would actually know what each other was saying when we were kids too. And so with light language is the cosmic language of your soul. And so there are no human words sometimes that can describe what wants to come through. And light language is tuning into a particular frequency, radio station, to channel information to break you out of trance. And so we all get into trance. Like if you're watching a TV show, you can get into trance just watching it, or like scrolling on social media, you can get into a trance and like get sucked in. You're like, I thought I was on here for 5 minutes and it's been an hour.
Mm.
And so we get into trance with all sorts of different beliefs and patterns and things that we are connected to. And these can be trances that are connected to collective conscious beliefs or habits or systems that have certain values and belief systems that make us behave a certain way. Good example that I like to use for that is like people that like to take photos on Christmas Day with all matching pajamas. So there can be it's fun, it's beautiful, it's cute, but there can be a belief system that if I'm not doing this because everybody else is doing it on social media, I'm going to look weird. You can just fill in the blank about the belief. And so the cool thing about light language is it just kind of lets you beat to your own drum. Like most spiritual practices allow you to beat to your own drum and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And that's one of the things that I like about light language. The other thing I like about the records is the most important thing is it allows you to have a self discovery so that you can live on purpose.
Yeah. Amazing. I feel like we can go so deep into these topics. I think let's go into the Akashic Records. I guess for our listeners out there who are just learning about this now, what are the ways that they like, how can knowing this and understanding this help them empower themselves in their lives? Like, what are the ways people can start to dig in?
Yeah, great question. So there's a deep knowing for people when they hear about the records. It's like when you start hearing about it, you're usually ready to start exploring it. And some people are meant to explore it right away and go deep and learn how to use it for themselves. And other times it can be where this is the seed that's planted, and somewhere along your path you are going to learn the records for yourself because it's an amazing life tool. And what it does is it allows you to get answers on demand that will support you in creating the life that you want. And so the questions that you get to ask and the support that you get to ask can be in any and all areas of your life. And so let's say you're having a problem with your romantic partner and you don't feel seen or heard. You could go in the records and say, "Hey, I am having a hard time communicating my feelings. Why is this happening to me?" And they might go down a path of like, this is a trauma response. Or they might go down a path is because you're avoiding your true feelings of that this relationship isn't working or whatever it could be. Or they can go, you're not viewing it from other perspectives and you're limiting your beliefs on what's coming through. And this is a learned behavior, whatever it could possibly be. But the neat thing is you get advice and it's up to you on how you use that advice. And for me, it's a tool that changes your life in a very short period of time once you put it into practice. And I'll give you an example. Like I wanted to do yoga teacher training so I could get over my fear of public speaking. And so I took a very untraditional route to getting certified in it. And once I got certified, I asked in the records, hey, where can I teach at a studio? And because I didn't get taught at a studio for my certificate, it's very hard to get a studio job in the beginning when you're just getting started. And the guardians of the records, also known as the master's teachers and loved ones, are like, go to this studio, ask to speak to the owner, talk to them about the kids class. The kids class wasn't even on my radar to even ask to teach, and ask to observe the class and see what happens. So I went to the studio, talked to the owner, asked if I could observe the kids class. He said, absolutely. I went and observed the kids class. 2 weeks later, he offers me a teaching gig to support in the kids class, which then allows me to do the adult classes. And so it can be from practical advice like that, like how do I get my foot in the door somewhere? Or from a mind, body, soul connection, like working on your health or working on your finances or building a business or coming up with podcast ideas. There's all sorts of different things that you can use the records for. The main thing is like, if you're being guided to do it, find someone that can teach you how to do it.
Yeah, when you talk about it, Amy, it sounds like you're just having a conversation with like a mentor or a guide. It's so interesting. Can you explain it to us a little bit more? When you receive these downloads, is it as simple as just like when you're meditating, you get an intuitive feeling, or is there literally a process to like access the records and you're like, oh, I know I'm in the records now versus like my own?
I love this question. There is a process. I teach the process inside of Sacred Awakening because you do need a process. Like you also don't there's many different methods and many different ways to use the records. Like some people only use them for past life regressions. I love using the records for past life regressions, but I think that for me, I want to use it for the past, the present, and the future because I don't want to only work on the past because that can be really, really heavy. So there's different openings, different modalities, and how to open the records. And so I teach my students in Sacred Awakening how to open their records using crystalline energy. And then we send them a crystal kit too. So we have something tangible to hold on to while we're talking about something super abstract, right? And so there's a process. We do a very short process to open the records. You'll know when the records are open, and then you get to start asking questions. Or you can just sit in the records and the energy of the records and let the masters, teachers, and loved ones love on you. And then there's ways to know if it's coming from the guardians, the masters, teachers, and loved ones, or if it's coming from your ego or your mind, because you do want to know those things. You have to have discernment in order to take action on the advice as well.
Yeah. And when people talk about, say, spirit guides, is it the same or similar thing as this?
Some of your spirit guides can be guardians of the records and some may not be.
Oh, I see.
The guardians of the records are like ascended masters, archangels, deities, goddesses, loved ones. And not all loved ones are guardians of the records as well. And you may not know every single guardian that you speak to in the records. And it's not important to know every single guardian you speak to in the records because they talk as a collective most of the time. And they switch out all throughout the session because you want to have whoever has mastery in whatever it is that you're wanting support on in that moment to come through. And it's the example I usually like to give is if you have a toothache, you're not going to go to a car mechanic, you're going to go to a dentist, and you're going to want to take the dentist advice over the car mechanic advice when it comes to working on your tooth, right? And so they switch out just like that, where they have expertise in certain areas and they want to support you. And they do it from a place of non-judgment. And you don't have to show up perfectly either. And that's really important to note too, because sometimes when you think about spiritual practices, sometimes people think, well, I need to be dressed all in white and I need to be in the most high vibrational state and I need to be perfect in order to enter into this consciousness. And that's just not simply true. They know you're having a human experience. So show up exactly how you are so they can love on you and help you work through whatever it is that you're working on in that moment.
Yeah. And I know you talk about how you teach the process in your courses, but is there a basic version that you can share with our listeners here, like how they can begin to access or learn how to access?
We actually have a meditation that I walk everybody right into the records and they get like a secret message from one of the guardians. And I'm happy to provide that link to you.
Okay.
And it will be at theamyrobeson.com / secret message. And that way that they can just go right in and they can get a secret message and it's absolutely free to do that.
Okay, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Because I feel like after listening to this, people are just dying to try it.
That's the cool thing is I always offer free masterclass series twice a year. We do like a 10-day event that's absolutely free where we go into the records and we work with the ancestors and we work with the guardians and we clear money beliefs and we tap into like infinite abundance. And there's all sorts of different things that you can do with the records. And a lot of times when you're thinking about it, what is it? You just have to experience it.
Yeah, yeah.
I totally have a free experience that you guys can do. And if you want, I'm happy to like channel a message or do something like that for you as well, if you'd like.
Actually, that sounds fun.
What I love to do with this type of format is I'll ask you what you have going on and what you're struggling with. And then I'll channel a message for you. And then I will also make it where it pertains back to your audience as well, because we're in a
Oh,
group
okay.
setting. People are listening to your podcast. And so whatever resonates with them that I'm sharing with you is for them. And whatever doesn't, leave it behind.
Yeah.
So does that work?
Yeah, totally.
So what are you struggling with, or what are you working on, or what do you want support with?
I think I've been led clearly towards like a couple big projects that I meant to do, but I have a lot on my plate always. And I don't exactly know how to subtract or how to move forward sometimes. So I feel like I'm always spread a little thin. That's a big struggle. I'll just share that one.
So your plate's overflowing and you have a lot of projects that you want to do, but you know that you're like, you don't have the space to do it right now.
Yes. Like there are projects that, like some I'm more inspired than others, but it seems like there's not much that I can subtract,
Okay, perfect.
to make space for the ones that really inspire me.
So let's formulate a question, because questions are really important when it comes to the records. I already am getting information for you, but I want to formulate a question just so
Okay.
we can do that. So we want to ask an open-ended question. So a question that you could ask is, how can I solve this problem? Or what is it that is necessary for me to do to go into the projects that I really want to do?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good. Yeah. What is necessary for me to move towards what I'm meant to be doing, feeling balanced and feeling like not feeling like I have too many things going on.
Yeah, they're showing me your energy and like part of you is solid and then the right part of you is like paper thin. It's almost like see-through. And
Oh,
so they're saying that you're not able to receive when you're in that position of like thinning out, and that it's really important to actually prioritize what you're saying yes to this year and what you're saying no to. And you're going to start saying no to more things than you are used to saying. And this will get you more excited about the bigger projects because you don't have room for all of them. And part of the becoming of who you are, very specific words that they're using, is figuring out what is a priority now and what is no longer a priority, because you've outgrown some of your old priorities that you would have died to have, but they're not priorities anymore. And by actually letting some of those go, and they're saying their simple thing is does this bring me joy, and does this push the envelope forward easily and effortlessly, or is it old and outdated?
it sounds like something that Makes so much sense. And I think I've understood that, but it's also, I think I have difficulty saying goodbye sometimes and letting some things go, but it's something of my own journey.
But they're saying that and I love that. And they're saying by asking that question, is this old and outdated? Does this bring me joy? You're going to get very clear. Like it's going to be very clear in your body, not your mind. Take your mind out of the equation, in
Yeah.
your body, what that answer is. And you can make a whole list, go down, get a piece of paper out, make a whole list of all the projects, all the things that you're working on, things that you're wanting to work towards as well. Because what you're going to do is you're going to subtract half of the list. And that sounds so scary, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to working at such a high capacity, but they're saying those newer things that you're wanting to work on will bring more opportunities than the smaller things that you used to die to have.
I love that framing. Thank you.
But you can't make space for those new things unless you let go of the old things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like trusting that the new things will bring me what I want. Cause sometimes I'm relying on what's known, right?
Oh, I totally get that because I'm in the same boat. Like, you're like, this has always worked for me, but you're looking for something that takes you to the next level of fulfillment, right? And this is also part of like self mastery too. And so what they're saying is just stretch, give yourself permission to stretch, like stretch out of your comfort zone and into the new comfort zone and let go of the old. And for your listeners, to just kind of sum this up in a different way, we are entering into this beautiful age of Aquarius where it's so important to start looking at the old shadow parts that are holding us back and to work on those shadow parts, because those shadow parts hold us in fear and prevent us from moving to the next evolution of our soul's journey in this lifetime. And so when we work on those shadow parts and we work on those fears, we get to let them go and enter into a new reality that is prosperous and whole and abundant and brings you next level joy and next level self mastery.
Amazing. Thank you, Amy, for doing that. Thank you for the advice. Just hearing you speak from it like you didn't even do anything different. You were always tapped in. Like you already got the message. I thought you were gonna like meditate or do something.
I've been working in the records for a really long time, and my big thing is practicing spiritual laws and practicing, like, making sure I have permission to share with you what I'm receiving and clarifying what it is that you want, because I think that's really important. But I always have the records open, like, especially when I'm teaching or doing interviews, just because there's always some sort of magic that wants to be shared, and I'm so excited to share it.
Time for a short break to thank our sponsor, Shopify. If you've ever had a dream to start your own business, but the logistics felt overwhelming, you're not alone. Before Shopify, managing the Lavender shop on my old website was not a seamless or intuitive experience. Now, with Shopify, everything is easy to manage and navigate. Everything from designing the shop to managing inventory and processing orders is all seamless. I get to focus on what truly matters, creating meaningful products and connecting with you. Shopify makes it easy to bring your vision to life, whether you're launching your first product or scaling up your business. It gives you the freedom to grow on your own terms. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/TLL, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/TLL to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/TLL. Do you find that it's hard to separate yourself from like what you're receiving, or do you just let it flow always? Because to have it always there, I'm just wondering.
I want to ask permission. Like, if I'm getting something for someone, first off, I'm not open to that all day because that would be very noisy. But if I'm talking to someone and all of a sudden I'm starting to get something for them, I'm going to ask them permission to share that, because I'm not going to just share it without permission, because that would be wrong.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
there is a deep understanding and a deep relationship with the records themselves. And my work is the records. Like, I'm excited to share this work, and I'm excited to share it with the world just because it's life-changing. It's really, really life-changing when someone can change their life in a short period of time and completely think differently about themselves and completely think differently about their future. It's so rewarding. And so I like being tapped in, and I like noticing what's evolving in the records, because the records aren't static. Just like we're not static, we're constantly evolving as well, and the records are constantly evolving. And I've been teaching Sacred Awakening, my Akashic Record course, for 8 years now, and it's every year I learn something new. Every round I learn something new about the records, because we are changing at such a rapid pace, which means the records are changing, and then also people are waking up at a rapid pace, and they're learning about these types of tools, which then also accelerates the opening of the records and accelerates the connection into the records, because more and more people are starting to learn about it.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And I can feel it too. Just so many more people are so open and tapping in, and they might not even know what it is. I love hearing this from you. There's something else I want to ask you about that you talked about, crystalline energy. So tell us more about what that is and how is that a tool?
Yeah, so I actually teach people how to open their Akashic records using crystalline energy.
Yeah. So what is that?
You can think about like a tangible crystal, right?
Okay.
Tangible crystal has been percolating, brewing, growing in the earth for millions of years. It is encoded with all sorts of light codes from Mother Earth and from other beings. And they're just like little light beings that want to support us in our life. We are moving from carbon-based beings to crystalline beings. We use crystals for all sorts of things, just like crystals are in our computers. Like, we use crystals for everything. And so we can pull that energy in, and they act as keys to unlock the door. And I have a method that I teach my students that's super easy to open their records using the crystalline energy. And we handpick crystals for people that unlock their records themselves. And they're each picked out with the guardians and the student in mind, because everybody's working on something a little different, where some people need more expansion in their upper chakras, while some people need more grounding, some people need more love, and depending on what it is, that will determine what crystals that they get. And the crystalline energy, you don't have to be interested in the records to work with crystalline energy. Crystalline energy wants to work with us because we are multidimensional, and it can help either repel or bring things towards us, or assist us in manifesting whatever it is that we're wanting support with. And it's really powerful.
Yeah. So it's simply just the energy from crystals that you feel connected to.
There are so many crystals. Every
Hmm.
year they discover new crystals in the earth, which is kind of cool, because they're like, ooh, we just found this new crystal. And then there's when I channel, I'll sometimes channel different crystalline energies that have not been discovered, that are just, they're coming through, and I'm being guided to channel that particular crystalline energy in.
Tell us more about light codes. Like what does that mean?
Light codes are what you bring in through light language. And then there could be light codes also side of crystals. And so light codes hold particular programming to help you, and then you can fill in the blanks. So
Mm,
light language, again, helps you to get out of trance. And so if you bring in certain light codes, let's say you are having a hard time with finding a mate, and you're in this trance of, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, I'm going to always attract the same type of person, I always make bad decisions when it comes to finding a mate. And can be very, very, very subconscious. Or dating's hard, that could be a really big one. Dating's hard. And so with light language, it can go in and it moves past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, and it cleans out the distortion. And it's a really beautiful experience to experience, because it allows everything to just kind of move, because it's vibration meeting vibration, and it raises your vibration.
yeah. But how does that work? Are you just like, I guess, channeling the right light codes to kind of break through your limiting belief or
Yeah, so light language is like tuning into a radio station, And it's like, oh, what station are we tuning into to channel the frequency that wants to support with this? And there aren't human words that can describe what that looks like. Have you ever experienced light language before?
Not myself, but I've heard someone speak it. Like I've been in the room with them.
Yeah. Do you like meditation?
I do. I love it.
So I'm happy to channel some light language to do like a small little guided visualization for you and your people.
Yeah, I think that'd be great so that we can understand and get it.
We don't have to intellectualize it. We can actually just experience it.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Why don't we play off of what we talked about earlier, what you're working on, and just kind of letting go of the old and welcoming the new? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, with anybody that's listening to this, do not drive while listening to this, because some people do fall asleep or get into a trance. We always want to practice safety as well. So, go ahead and close your eyes and bring your awareness into your heart space and receive a breath, taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth, really settling in and letting go. Taking another nice deep breath in, exhaling out, allowing your grounding cord to root into the earth. And I want you to imagine your grounding cord is rooting all the way down to the center of the earth, where there's a crystalline ball of energy. It is okay if you do not see this. You can sense it, you can feel it, you can imagine it, you can just know it's there. And then I want you to plug your grounding cord into that crystalline ball of energy. And then you're going to inhale, pull Mother Earth's Gaia's energy up into you and allow her to cradle you with love. And you'll just exhale out, feeling her energy surround you, hold you. And then I want you to feel your energy stretch up towards the great I am, towards the great central sun. And so there's this beautiful masculine energy, beautiful feminine energy that wants to come in and support you. And I want you to just feel that energy pour into you and hold you. And then I want you to imagine, sense, or feel that there's a beautiful, magnificent, crystalline cloud that's just starting to form underneath you. And that crystalline cloud is going to lift you up out of your heart space and move you across all space and time, where you're going to land in a beautiful place in nature. And when you land there, there's this beautiful crystalline circle, like it's a circle that's surrounded by crystals. And in the center of the circle, there's this beautiful star. And you're going to stand in the center of the circle on that star. And when you step on it, I want you to imagine, sense, or feel any worries, any stresses about letting go of the old, letting go of old projects, old to-dos, old fortunes, because these can be things that you've worked so hard to get, but they're just no longer in alignment. I want you to just imagine when you're standing on that star that it activates and it's inviting you to let go of all of these fears. And I want you to imagine, as it activates, there's this pillar of light that's surrounding you in this entire star. And this pillar of light is going up past your head, all the way up towards the sky. And you're just being held in this beautiful light. And as you're being held in this beautiful light, you can even call out any fears that you're wanting to let go of: fear of failure, fear of mistakes, fear of, and fill in the blank. And there's going to be a moment of silence when you're just kind of like letting these fears percolate to the surface, and then you're acknowledging them, and then you're letting them go, and they're being released from your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit. And then as you're letting these fears go, there's going to be these beautiful crystalline colors that are going to come into through this pillar of light that you're in. And these light codes are going to help shake loose some of these fears and allow you to let them go with more ease. Torasi troma tarasine konomutria, bataresine konomutra patria sonomoha. Sonomoha tarasit konomutrika namataresine mutrika namataha. Tunama, 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 torasinikaramoha. And I want you to imagine that there's three very specific colors that are coming in and helping you release these fears. And as they're releasing these fears, this invitation for abundance and prosperity and trust in yourself that you're making the right decisions on choosing new creative endeavors, that your heart will not lead you astray, that your heart is leading you exactly where you're meant to be, and you're going to grow, and there's going to be more abundance and more prosperity and more love that you've ever imagined coming into your life because you're welcoming it in with open arms. And I want you to imagine these colors are coming in, your heart is opening up, and this pillar of light is even changing colors. And then I want you to sense, feel, or imagine you're being surrounded by light around the circle that you're in, and that there's these guides that are just surrounding you by light, and they're sending you a message. And this message is going to either download into your energy field for you to receive at a later date, or you're going to receive it in this moment. And you may sense it, hear it, feel it, imagine it, know it. And then they're going to hand you a gift. And again, this might just be downloaded into your energy field for you to receive at a later date or in this moment. And they may share what it means as well. Sukarasi trosan matarasi namorkaha. And then you're going to take a nice deep breath in, cleansing breath out. And then go ahead and breathe in purple. And exhale, feel it anchor down into your grounding cord and feel your energy coming back into your heart space. And then you can also breathe in like smoky quartz. So it's going to be like this smoky crystalline energy. And that's going to just help you ground even more. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly blink your eyes open, taking your time coming back to.
Time for another short break. The show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as your physical health, but sometimes therapy can feel like a big commitment, both financially and time-wise. With BetterHelp's online therapy, you can easily access the support you need from the comfort of your home, making it both affordable and convenient. BetterHelp connects you with over 30,000 licensed therapists who are ready to help with everything from stress to anxiety. Plus, with a flat fee for weekly sessions, you can prioritize your well-being without the added stress of unpredictable costs. And if you ever feel like your therapist isn't the right fit, switching is simple and free, ensuring that you always get the support that feels just right for you. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/TLL to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TLL.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. I feel relaxed. I feel so grateful just that you offered to do this for us live.
Yeah, no problem.
You're right. It's hard to explain through words what you do, and that's why I'm grateful that you can demonstrate and to help me with that. Also, because I'm on a podcast that I'm on, I feel like I will have to receive the gift and the message later because I'm balancing a lot of things.
Yeah, you're balancing. Where do we go next with this? So,
Well, also like I hear my dog walking around. I'm like, what's he doing? Yeah.
yeah, just re-listen to it.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's the cool thing is like with light language, your higher self comes in, and your higher self will like shake you up and be like, listen, like just listen. That's all you have to do is just listen to your heart. I've had all sorts of different people who are like, that's just so strange, but it feels so good. I don't know why that is, but it feels so good.
Yeah. That's amazing that the light language just comes out of you so naturally and quickly. I'm like amazed.
You know, when like you were talking about, you're balancing out when you're receiving versus when you're giving, right? And so for me, I'm always amazed by what comes out because I don't know what's going to come out until I witness it while it's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And so my light language has changed so much over the years. And like when I first started as an adult speaking it was like super fast, like so fast because I had like this backlog of light language of many years that wanted to come out. And now it's like I'll play with the cadence of it where it's like once to speed up and once to slow down. It sounds different. It feels different too. And so I've been learning more about light language over the year because it's a very strange thing. And people are talking about it more and more now. But I find it so fascinating. I don't even feel like we've tapped into the full surface of what it is quite yet.
Yeah. There's so much we can go into. Basically, out of all the things you do, like how much of it are you doing it on a daily basis or weekly basis? What is your spiritual practice and what do you make sure to come back to?
Yeah, so I think foundational pieces are really important. I think that doesn't matter how much of a master you are at any particular um, type of modality. I think breathing, journaling, meditating, and practicing the practices that you like are really important. So, like for me, I like to practice meditation and I like to practice the records, and the records involve journaling. And so it just depends on what it is that I'm doing. But the foundational pieces are always going to be meditation, mantra work, journaling, and some sort of breathing exercise that's really important. Then movement. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of people separate that, but moving your body in any way, shape, or form can become a meditative practice. And I think that if we don't move our bodies, we get stuck and we don't receive properly. And so moving is a really big one for me as well.
Yeah. And do you do it in the mornings, evenings? Does it not matter? Like, what is your schedule?
I have a 40-year-old, so that loves to wake up at dark time.
Okay. No, this is great because there's a lot of like moms out there that how do I make time? How do I, yeah.
So my preferred time is in the morning. However, sometimes I will choose sleep over um, spiritual practices. So then I'll just do it during the day on my work day, or I'll do it at night. Like I've been using this shake plate that like shakes out your whole body and like you
Yeah.
stand in it for 10 minutes. And I've been
Yeah.
just meditating on that at nighttime. And it's
Oh,
such an
cool.
amazing, yummy feeling. And there's all sorts of things that I get just doing that. And then I journal a lot during the day as well. So I'll take like a little break during my workday to do little practices because there's always time. Like even if you're super busy, you can find a way to figure out where you can meditate. And meditation can be done in your car after you drop off your kids, or it could be done in your car in the middle of the workday. Like you can figure out 5 minutes. And then also most important thing is clearing your energy because we are bombarded by all sorts of different things. And so that's a foundational practice I think everybody should invite into their spiritual practices because it'll make you feel so good.
Yeah. Give us more advice on clearing our energy. I think we all need that. Like, what is the routine or what do you recommend?
You can clear your energy with crystals. You can clear your energy with smoke. So, sage, Palo Santos, incense. You can clear your energy with sound. I think clearing your energy with sound is really awesome. I have these two big bells that I bang together and it just echoes and vibrates through the whole auric field and through like my room and things like that. It just depends. You can do it with like singing bowls or you can do it with Reiki. It's like whatever you find that like calls to you, but you can also just clear yourself with breath. I think oftentimes people overlook the power of the breath, and you can just simply take 10 conscious breaths and clear yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're breathing, imagine that you're being cleaned. And you can also take a shower. Like it sounds so silly, but just imagine you're being cleansed in the shower, besides physically cleansed, but you're emotionally, spiritually, mentally being cleansed in the shower.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like even the water, like it's not just physical, it's everything else, energetic, everything.
Yeah, so like I do spiritual practices in the shower every night, and I think you can make anything a spiritual practice. Washing the dishes can be a spiritual practice, scrubbing the floor can be a spiritual practice. Anything can be a spiritual practice. And so you want to carve out those spaces in time and make it be present, make it be what you want it to be, make it be special, make it be a part of your routine that you look forward to each and every day.
Okay, so next is I want to ask you about manifesting abundance because that's something that it really excites me.
Yeah.
And where do you advise listeners to start in like how can they manifest abundance in their lives?
It starts with gratitude.
Mm,
So if you don't have a gratitude practice, when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, list three things you're grateful for. Can it be more than three things? Absolutely. Do they have to be big, extravagant things? Absolutely not. It could be, I am so excited for this tea that I'm drinking. I'm loving it. And you can be in gratitude in the moment. If you eat three times a day, you can say grace and you can express gratitude for the food that's going in your body. It's a spiritual law. Gratitude is a spiritual law. So the more you express gratitude, the more abundance that you are going to attract in your life and the more things you will be grateful for. If you are constantly complaining, the universe is going to send you more to complain about. So it's shifting your perspective on what you're grateful for, which then will bring you more abundance itself.
yeah, totally. It sounds so simple put that way, but it makes so much sense. Is there anything else to it?
So it could be, you can go down a rabbit hole of all sorts of different abundant practices. So, like, for example, every single time I host our Soul Evolution Masterclass series that's free, this is for like our Akashic Record program. The number one thing, I always do a survey, and the number one thing people are always asking for is for more abundance. And so this is not just like a little topic, this is like a major
It's a
topic for
huge,
most
yep.
people. And so you can listen to, which we have them. We do like this like abundance activator, like when we do that free series, so that people can tap into more abundance. But you can work with crystals that bring in more abundance. Green aventurine is a great crystal for that. Carnelian's a great crystal. But you could also look at crystals that help you ground, which then allow you to feel more abundant because you're not scattered. So you can work with black tourmaline or hematite, or 'cause hematite brings spirit into matter. And so there's all sorts of different things that you can do in terms of abundance. The question is what are you attracted to do? And can you implement that daily? And I think like the easiest thing to implement daily is a gratitude practice.
Amazing. So, Amy, do you have something that you're excited about now in your work or what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I have a documentary that I'm in that's coming out with Joe Vitale that I'm really excited about, which is about zero limits, living at zero limits, which I'm really excited
Wow,
about.
that's amazing.
It's going to be on Amazon and Apple, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to growing like our Sacred Awakening community because that's been really neat. But most importantly, I'm just like looking forward to, my word for this year is devotion, and it's devotion
Mm.
towards self. And
Ooh,
so what that looks like and how that evolves and how that changes my relationship with myself and my spirituality and creation, I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
I love that. Did you have a theme for last year? And how did that go? I'm just curious.
I did, and it
Uh-huh.
was, epic expansion,
Oh,
and
how did
I
that
feel
go?
like I just went through a whirlwind.
Too epic? You're like, I
No, I
shouldn't have
mean,
asked
like,
for that. No.
it's so great, like, I filmed the documentary,
Oh my
we've
gosh.
grown beyond my wildest imagination, like, things are, like, they sped up, but now I'm, like, waiting for them all, like, to see what happens for them, because then it slows down because 'cause you're done doing the things that you need to do, but now they haven't launched yet, so I'm like, "What's gonna happen?" And so
You're in a waiting period. That's a beautiful space to be because it's done. The hard part is done.
yeah, absolutely. And so I do need to finish my book this year, so that's the other thing that I'm looking forward to doing, but yeah, like, epic expansion, I'm like, "This year I need something soft."
Quiet devotion to myself, just like in the small daily things, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I think we can live in such a spiritual lens of love. And I think when you have a devotion to yourself, everything starts to change
Oh, yeah.
because you start saying yes to yourself and you stop hurting yourself.
I love that. My theme for this year is kind of similar, but it's different wording, right? It's connect with my heart. Like, I want to make sure I'm always connecting with my heart more, like, do something daily, whether it's the meditation, journaling, or something, because I think sometimes I'm like in my mind, I'm trying to, I don't know, I just get lost. And I'm just like, just come back to my heart and just connect with myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And a good crystal to work with would be morganite.
Morganite. Okay.
You can work with any of the pink crystals, morganite, kunzite, rose quartz, but morganite was coming through really big for you.
Okay. Thank you. I've heard of it.
And it doesn't have to be a big piece, it can be a little piece.
Thank you. All right, Amy, if you could leave our listeners with one final piece of wisdom or advice, what would that be?
Follow your heart. And if your heart's saying yes, do it. If your heart's saying no, trust it, because you might not understand why. And sometimes when doors closes, bigger ones open. So follow your heart. Just keep following it, and your heart will always lead you to where you're meant to be.
Beautiful. Okay, lastly, where can we find you online?
You can find me at theamyrobeson.com, which is TheAmyRobeson.com. And we have like free healings on there. We have free masterclasses. And I also have a podcast called Awakening with Amy Robeson. And we have a YouTube channel, Amy Robeson.
Yes, and a documentary coming out
Yes.
later this year. I'm so excited for you. It sounds so amazing. Thank you for sharing all your free resources and everything. We'll link everything in the show notes down below so you guys can check out more of Amy's work. Thank you, Amy, for your time and just for sharing your gifts with us today. It was so precious.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.